Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today on Time Flies we're going to be reviewing the Mark III Octopod watch strap buckle. I reviewed the Mark I a couple of years back and I'm really keen to get into this review and share with you how this new version shapes up. Okay, so let's get on with the review. Okay, so here it is. But before we dig in and open the box, I just want to share with you, just to be completely clear. So Zuludiver sent me this to review. I do get to keep it afterwards, but I am going to keep the review obviously unbiased. I just wanted to share that with you just for complete clarity. So let's get started. Okay, so here we go. Let's open the box and take this on out. So here we go. Here is the, let's put that over there. Here is the Mark III Zuludiver Octopod buckle. Now, as I mentioned in the opening just there, I did review the Mark I a couple of years back and contacted Zuludiver to say, shall I do a comparison review? They were happy to supply this one. So there it is. This is the 20mm version. So it comes in the 20mm and 22mm. Now, for those of you that aren't aware, this sits somewhere between a NATO and a traditional, you have the stainless steel straps on dive watches, that kind of thing. It sits between the two. So it's made of stainless steel, so you can use it with your dive watch. It's not going to rust. It's completely, water resistant, or whatever you want to call it. So it's an unusual thing. Whether you need this, that's down to you to decide. But one thing it does add a really interesting aesthetic to your watch. So let's give a few more details about this. Okay, so the buckle, this one is the polished version, but it's available in so brushed and polished, full mirror polish, which is this one, sandblasted, black, antique bronze, and gold. And I'll post some pictures of those at the end of the video. I have to say, if I had an antique bronze watch, I would get the antique bronze buckle. It looks awesome. Okay, so it's a 2-button release. So you press it, it just opens up. There it is. I've taken most of the protective tape off of it. There's a couple more. There's this sort of orangey bit here. And there we go. Now, I'm not going to go into how you fit this to the watch. If you don't want to know about that, you can take a look at my video of the Mark I. The way fitting it is exactly the same, and I'll put the link below. So why is it called an Octopod? Well, I believe it's called that because the strap passes through these loops a total of 8 times, hence 8 octo. Just a nice tying. As you can see, it's got a lovely logo there on the mats they provided. And actually, these mats came with the strap, along with a lovely little cleaning cloth. I have to say that, and I know those of you who watched some of my videos before, I am a huge fan of Zuludiver straps. They have a great range, and I think they're pretty reasonably priced. There are some more expensive ones, but they do a really unique range of straps. So anyway, we'll come to that, maybe to that in another time. So, all right, so what's the difference between the Mark III and the Mark I? Well, obviously there was a Mark II between the two. I didn't get to review one of those. The biggest difference is that the Mark III is much more compact than the Mark I. Now, I mentioned this a little bit later on in the video, but the Mark I, because of its lengthened profile, when I first reviewed it, I said how comfortable it was, which it was. But then after wearing it for some length of time, I found actually that it did dig into my wrist a little bit. Not a huge amount, but it did dig. And it's not until you spend some time with a watch or a watch strap you begin to notice some of its foibles and some of its shortfallings. It did have a few sort of sharper edges to it. Well, they rectified that with the Mark III. So it's much more compact. Now, this one arrived, as I mentioned later on, just before I went on holiday, so I've been wearing this one consistently for a week, and I have to say it's much more comfortable. I'll talk about that a bit later on. So really, that's the major difference. Also, with the Mark I, sometimes it didn't seem to click in. Well, this one just clicks in beautifully. It really is rigid. Now, one of the benefits of these over a 2-part strap is, like the NATO, if one of the spring bars comes off, you're not going to lose your watch. It still works the same as a NATO because it passes right through your watch strap, around the back and threads through here, as you'll see in the video from the Mark I. Since the Mark I, Zuludiver have released a lot more straps. So in total, there's 53 straps for these. Now the straps retail at around about £10 each. Let me just show you one. So this one is from the Hydra Rib range. It's obviously one of the best selling because it's black, and you'll see this in the Forzo watch I'm going to show in a little while later. I also purchased military green. This one is from their Apex range. So Apex has 13 different colours. There's also an elastic version. Now, when I first bought the MkIII, I went for the elastic version, and I found out actually I'm not a fan of elastic straps. I just don't like how they feel restrictive on your wrist. You may feel that that's something that you like, that closeness to your wrist, but I prefer these. You have that little bit more sort of looseness to the strap, not hanging off your wrist obviously, but a little bit of breathing room. Yeah, so Hydra Rib, there's 10 different colours. It's a great orange one. I've actually just ordered a blue diver, steel dive from the AliExpress sale, and ordered one of these in orange and another one in blue. I'm really looking forward to seeing how those look on the watch. Apex, much more a softer strap, 13 in those in that range, and then there's 30 in the elastic range. I mean, just about everything you can think of. There's stripes there, there's plain ones. Yeah, just a great range. You can't really go fall short. And for £10 each, I mean, they're well made. The ends are well sealed, and you can see that. Let me zoom it in a bit for you. There you go. They're well sealed, well made. Just great straps. And I am really considering ordering one of the bead blasted buckles, just to go with the rest of my watch collection. I have a number of bead blasted, especially military field watches. This one's a bit dressy for a field watch, but I do like the Zuludiver etched in there. It's done extremely well. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it's done extremely well. But one thing you will notice, especially if you choose to go for the polished version, is that they do tend to mark reasonably easy. Now, I've been wearing this for a week, and it's already picked up just a couple of scratches. But I'm guessing if you are going to go for the polished version, it's going to be more of a dress watch, so you're not going to be using it for, you know, working in the garden or whatever it is you do physically. If that's the case, I would definitely go for the brushed or the bead blasted version. The other thing about this, difference between this and the MkIII, is that I don't know if they have, and I haven't got the MkIII anymore, I should say that, because it dug in my wrist, I did sell it on, but the thickness here, I'm pretty sure this one seems a lot thinner, or at least a little bit thinner, because I found when I was working at my desk, this would scrape on the desk, and you know, I continue to be catching it with the MkIII, but not so with the MkIII. It just seems to sit so much better. Okay, there we go. Not too much more to say about the strap, other than the fact, so the buckle, other than to say that, okay, a couple of cons. It's not the easiest thing to fit. So the same as the MkIII, it's still pretty fiddly, because the strap has to pass through this each side 4 times, and to get the adjustment right to fit your wrist can be a bit fiddly. So it's not like just pulling a NATO through within minutes, or within, well, seconds probably. You've done it, you've adjusted it, pulled it through the buckle, and it's on. This does take a bit more time, so I'd say that is one of the cons. You can't just swap straps in and out, you know, within a couple of minutes. However, once you have done that, once the strap is threaded through and you've got it adjusted, it's very quick to put on, and it's very comfortable. So it's just a matter, like you do with your dive watch, your steel stainless steel strap. You just put it on and click it in place, and it's done every time. And so it does sit between the two. And like I said, you're gonna have to decide if this is something that you need or something that you want. I really, really like it. I enjoy the way it looks on my wrist. It's drawn a few comments already. I've only had it for a week, and people have looked at it and said, "Oh wow, yeah." And it wasn't the watch itself that attracted anyone to it; it was actually the buckle. So it's, yeah, it is a nice thing. It's well made, it's well machined, it's extremely well finished. It comes very well packed. You can buy these in sets, in a tin, so it comes with, I think it's 5, could be 6 straps, maybe you need to check that out, but I will again put the link below. Yeah, it's just something very tactile to it. I do like it. Okay, so let's take a look at it on a watch. Okay, so here we have the buckle fitted to the same watch that I did with the MkIII. This is a titanium ProMaster Tough. Now, ideally, obviously the buckle for this watch needed to be something either brushed or bead blasted just to match the watch. But I mean, even so, it gives you a great impression of what it looks like with the watch. So with the MkIII, when I reviewed it, I mentioned that it was extremely comfortable, which it was. Now, having worn the buckle for a number of weeks, what I actually found is that this part dug into my wrist, and my wrist isn't very large. It's about 7¼ and maybe sometimes if it's worn just over. So I've got a big wrist, but wearing it for long periods of time, the MkIII felt uncomfortable. So what I did is when Zuludiver sent me this one, I was actually going on holiday, so I wore this one continually for a week, and I have to say that this one, they seem to have resolved the issues with that. Where this is shorter, obviously the whole thing feels more compact, and you really don't notice you've got it on. It's a really comfortable buckle. I'd say well done to them. They've resolved that issue. I did like the larger area here with the Zuludiver logo on it, but actually for comfort wise, this one is so much better. So that's it on the ProMaster. Let me just pop it on my wrist a second. Okay, there we go. Oh. So here it is fitted to the Forzo Enduro timer. Now, obviously, we know with the Citizen, it was a mismatch with the polished buckle and the bead blasted case. This one is on one of the Hydro rib straps, and I think you'll agree it does look really nice. Let's just zoom it in. I can't help but just show you the watch as well. I love this watch. Bought this from MkIII on a sale. They have nearly new or pre-owned watches, and it was brand new. It looked brand new. Absolutely love this watch. Maybe I should do a review on this one at some time. But anyway, I'm getting distracted. So there it is. Let's zoom out a little bit so you can see it on the buckle. Now, I will just say that the Hydro rib straps, because they're a bit more rigid, they are a bit more of a challenge to get onto the buckle. So this one took me maybe a couple of minutes just to get it sitting right. And then once you've got it right, you can adjust the watch through the spring bars to centralize it to the strap. So there it is. I think you agree. It does look really nice. It just adds something to it. I love the way that it balances, the metal section of the actual watch itself and the strap here. It just adds balance to it. I really like it. So if you're thinking of getting one of these, then I will just say they're not cheap. So the brushed polished, the full mirror polished, the sandblasted, all retail at about £85. The black, the antique bronze and the gold are 90. Now, it is worth visiting the Zuludiver site and signing up for their updates because they do run offers. So at the time that they sent this to me, these were on offer at £68. Now, I just checked and they've gone back up. But keep your eye on the website. You may, you may be lucky and find them coming back on sale again. But it's not a cheap purchase. I know you can probably buy a cheap watch for around about the same price. But what it does do is, you pay the price for the buckle, but the straps. Zuludiver straps around about somewhere between £20–25 each. So it does half the price of the straps. I don't know. It just seems to work really well. Maybe not everyone's cup of tea, but for me, yeah, I really like it. So I'm going to leave the review there. I know I talked for quite a while. I would just like to say a huge thank you to Zuludiver for sending this for a review. Keep up the good work, guys. I am going to do just a short review on some other Zuludiver straps I have, because I just think, maybe you're not aware of these, you guys out there, that Zuludiver do such a great range. For a long time, I spent sort of hunting the internet for some straps that are of a good quality, that weren't too expensive, that had a nice bit of branding on it. I do like the Zuludiver branding, and there's a huge range on their website, so do check that out. If you haven't already liked or subscribed to the channel, please do that. I have a couple more reviews I want to share with you shortly, but until then, enjoy your watches. Yeah, take care. See you next time. Bye bye.